Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. Let's take a little look back at a speech Mark B. Spiegel held in 2018, screaming about competition and Tesla killers. But that was over 3 years ago, so most of those things he talked about has actually happened. So now we can take a look back and see how right or wrong he was, and look at the Buster growth story of Tesla and all the global competition. So let's check it out and let's dive right in. So let's start by hearing what Mark B. Spiegel, Mr. BS himself, had to say about Tesla and the competition.
After last night's call, it actually almost seems redundant to talk about Tesla. But here's the competition Tesla faces in electric cars. The Jaguar I-Pace is in showrooms this summer. It's priced $10,000 less than the least expensive Tesla Model X, and it's much nicer. It'll be $17,000 less expensive when Tesla's tax credits run out. Now, in fairness, this is a little bit smaller than the X. This doesn't have the third row seat. But I think a lot of people buy the X because they want an electric SUV and don't need that third row seat. That's just the only choice that they've had in a luxury model. Well, that's changing. The year after, the Jaguar XJ sedan is going electric. So that's directly against the Model S. Audi has its electric SUV. This is bigger than the Jag. This is in showrooms this winter. This is priced roughly comparable to the least expensive Tesla Model X. It'll be roughly $5,000 cheaper when Tesla's tax credit runs out, right around the time this thing is on the market. Audi's then, a year later, going to build the electric Sportback, which is like this sportier sort of crossover coupe, which is fabulous looking. Porsche has the electric sedan, the Mission E. Maybe you guys heard about this. I mean, think about this. A lot of people buy Teslas to sort of show off at the country club, right? I'm driving my electric Tesla. You pull up in your Tesla, and this guy pulls up next to you in the new electric Porsche. You feel like a total schmuck. The next weekend, you're at the dealer. Get me out of this thing. Get me one of those. That's what's going to happen. 2 years after that, Porsche's building a crossover based on the Mission E. So that'll be out in like 2020. Mercedes, its first electric SUV, comes out next year called the ECQ. They've been winter testing it. By the way, none of these are vaporware cars. You can go on YouTube and find hundreds of these being driven in like winter testing on the Nuremberg racetrack, all this stuff. I mean, these are all real. Mercedes is then going to launch an electric version of the S-Class. I mean, look at the interior of an S-Class compared to a Tesla, right? If you had that choice and you want an electric car, I mean, this becomes a no-brainer, right? This is out in 2 years. Mercedes wheels out electric car roadmap, car and battery factories everywhere. I mean, this is Daimler, a real company, spending real money all over the world to build electric cars. I mean, they alone would crush Tesla. Hyundai is coming out with a 250-mile range crossover for the mass market. That's out later this year as a 2019 model. This is sort of the vaporware Tesla Model Y that we will probably never see. This is available, as I said, later this year. 14 new EV models by Hyundai by 2025. The Bolt is out now. It's a great little car, selling pretty steadily. I don't know, maybe $2,000, $2,500 a month. And believe it or not, even the Bolt has taken away from Tesla sales because for a while it was the only other 200-plus mile electric car available. And if you didn't want a Model S, you could buy this Bolt now. If you didn't want to spend the money on an S, before you didn't have that choice. GM's going electric on all kinds of models. Volkswagen, this is a 2-year car, a 300-mile sort of crossover for $30,000. And then after that, a luxury Volkswagen sedan that'll have a 400-mile range. And you know, again, all these cars, we're talking about cars that are going to be out anywhere from this summer to maybe a year and a half from now. And people own Tesla, they're like, oh, I'm buying it for the year 2030, right? But they're not forward-looking enough to see something that's going to be out in 6 months, 8 months, whatever, which is just absurd. VW will build EVs in 16 factories in a zero-emission push. I mean, they're spending tens of billions of dollars on this stuff. BMW is going to export the iX3 electric crossover. They're building it in China. They're going to send it to Europe and the US. This car's out in 2 years. Then BMW is going to have this flagship electric car called the i4. BMW's electric car future mapped out. 25 pure EVs and hybrids by the year 2025. Ford plans $11 billion investment in electrified vehicles.
New Land Rover Defender goes electric. Toyota's going to market over 10 battery EV models by the early 2020s. Toyota, Mazda, and Denso creating company to hasten electric car development. Infiniti will go mostly electric by 2021. PSA is going to have multiple, this is Peugeot, they're going to have multiple electric models. All electric Mini Cooper coming next year. Smart car is going to be electric only within 2 years. Seat confirms launch of 311-mile electric car. Opel launching full electric car in 2 years. Skoda next year electric car. MG E-Motion confirms new EV sports car by 2020. Aston Martin is going to create an all-electric car brand. Renault, I actually don't want these highlighted here. Yeah, it should be on the bottom, but 6 pure electric vehicles, 12 electrified models are on the way from these guys. Rolls-Royce is going to build an all-electric Phantom. Citroën, all-electric cars coming. Honda will offer full EV or hybrid tech on every European model by 2025. New all-electric Bentley based on the Mission E is coming. This is for when you have a Goodyear, you get the Bentley. When you don't have a Goodyear, you get the Porsche. Subaru, all-electric by 2021. Plus at least 8 significant startups. Some of these may or may not make it, but they all have interesting stuff coming. Dyson, Lucid, Board, Detroit Electric, SF Motors, ABS, E-Velocity, and Faraday.
And what about China? Daimler launches new Denso electric vehicle for the Chinese market. This car's out now. BAIC and Daimler are building a $1.9 billion China plant. By the way, just to back up a second, people talk about, oh, the opportunity for Tesla is China. Tesla is already buried in China. I mean, you're going to see an unbelievable amount of stuff. I sound like Trump. Unbelievable amount of stuff coming in China. Volkswagen plans $12 billion electric car blitz in China. Audi to launch 7 new energy vehicles in China by 2020. Toyota to introduce 10 new electrified vehicles in China by 2020. A big portion of future GM electric vehicles for China.
Nissan to invest $9.5 billion in China to boost electric vehicles. Infiniti bringing EVs to China. BMW will develop and produce electric Mini in China. Ford ramps up electric vehicle push in China. China's BYD tops global electric car production for 3rd year in a row. SAIC to spend 15 billion RMB on EVs. Electric Honda HR-V to be launched in China. Mazda and Shandong Oil join hands on electric vehicles. Roadmeister EX5 electric SUV launched. NIO CS8 electric crossover debuts with half the Tesla Model X's price tag. Geely to build new energy vehicle production base in Eastern China. Great Wall starts new EV brand in China. FAW to roll out 17 models mostly electric by 2025. And JAC is another Chinese brand, 500-kilometer range electric car.
Tesla has over 300 Chinese startups hot on its tail. Here are some of the better-known Chinese startups. They're all linked on the presentation if I send it to you. Point being, like, Tesla could announce a Chinese factory deal, you know, tomorrow, right? And people are, oh, and Phil LeBeau on CNBC would talk about spike the stock $30. It would be freaking meaningless. There is already millions of electric car capacity either there now or there long before that factory can be open, and they'll just be a drop in the ocean if they don't go bankrupt first.
So let's just take a big overview of some of the sales of all these Tesla killers Mark was talking about before we dive into some of the details. So the Volkswagen brand sold 263,000 in 2021, Mercedes 49,000, Porsche 41,000, BMW 69,000, Audi 82,000. Combined, all these Tesla killers sold 504,000 units in 2021. And Tesla grew with about 437,000 units. Yeah, the competition really digged into Tesla's sales. And one of the proclaimed Tesla killer, the Mark Spiegel himself, tried to show just how much better it was the Jaguar I-Pace was over Tesla's offerings, and the Tesla Model Y was just vaporware. And because of all the competition in China, Tesla was already doomed before they built their factory, because the competition was so fierce. So Tesla should not even bother building a factory in China for that vaporware of a car, the Model Y. But Tesla ended up 2021 with 170,000 units of the Model Y only sold in China, all made from that factory that Tesla should not built, and that vaporware car became the best-selling SUV of any kind in China in 2021. But what about Mark Spiegel's proclaimed Tesla killer, the Jaguar I-Pace? What did that do in 2021? Because it has been out since 2018, so it should have had more than enough time to ramp and scale up and crush Tesla's Model Y's numbers, right? In all of 2021, globally, the I-Pace sold less than 10,000 units. What a Tesla killer, Mr. BS? Well, if we look at the Model Y globally, it is probably around 400,000 units Tesla sold in 2021. So to even call the I-Pace a competition to Tesla is just a joke. And it's not a bad EV. I don't even understand why this car doesn't sell any better. But again, compared to Tesla, this is not competition. But Mark Spiegel spent a lot of time screaming about the competition and also praised the Porsche Taycan as a Tesla killer. And everyone who showed up at the country club in a Tesla would be laughed at by the guys in their Taycans. But I don't think that anyone is laughing when the plaid Model S drives up next to a Porsche and smoke this performance car on every single performance matrix, and cost less than the Taycan Turbo S that has never tried to get a real over-the-air update, just like the Plaid just got, that got track mode that will make it even faster around the track, even though it has already destroyed Porsche's Nürburgring record. So Tesla's demand for the Plaid Model S has just become so big that even us here in Europe, we can't even order it with a price tag anymore, because we will probably not be able to get one before 2023. That is how big the demand is for this car. So yes, Porsche came and have done a great job with the Taycan and have sold very well, but that has not changed anything for the demand for Teslas, especially not since they came out with the Plaid Model S. And as Mark Spiegel also said, Mercedes could kill Tesla all on its own. Well, Mercedes do have both the EQC, the EQS, the EQA, the EQB, and so on, but they sold 49,000 units in all of 2021. They are not killing anyone, except maybe themselves. But this is the general theme. Yes, they all came out with a lot of models, and in the areas Mark Spiegel said Tesla would be in a lot of trouble and be doomed like China and Europe because of all that competition that was coming. And oh boy, did the competition come. Here in Europe we have over 250 different EV models to choose from right now. So that was true. There came a lot of competition. But did that stop Tesla or just slow them down a bit? No, not even a little bit. Tesla ended the year off as a second best-selling brand in Europe. And the Model 3 became the all-dominating force in 2021 in Europe and sold almost twice the amount of the number 2. So Tesla is doing very well in Europe, even with 250 different EV models out. And in China, Tesla sold about 321,000 units, making it one of the best-selling BEV companies in China as well. BYD, which saw a huge growth in 2021, sold just under 321,000. So BYD and Tesla ended up being just neck and neck in China, but giving the win just slightly to Tesla. NIO, that Mark Spiegel also talked about, just ended up with 91,000 EVs, and Xpeng sold just under 100,000, just over 98,000 units. So they are starting to grow very nicely and did sell more than Volkswagen and any other legacy automakers in China in 2021, but Tesla did sell more than 3 times as much as these two startups. And only BYD could keep up with Tesla in China, but Tesla really started to pull away in the last couple of months, so it will be interesting to see if BYD can keep up this year or Tesla will pull further away. Now they soon don't have to export Model Ys to Europe anymore. But again, Mark was wrong about Tesla in China. Tesla was not doomed. Tesla is one of the leaders in the EV race in China as well as in Europe. And Europe and China's great numbers from Tesla are both coming from almost only the Gigafactory 3 in China that did produce and deliver over 473,000 EVs in 2021. So that factory produced and delivered more EVs than the entire Volkswagen Group combined in 2021. That factory that Mark said they should not build. And in the US, well, that's not even interesting because Tesla owns that market with 65% EV market share. GM was hardly in the game in 2021 compared to Tesla. With only about 25,000 BEVs sold in all of 2021, Ford sold about 27,000 BEVs in the US and Tesla sold over 300,000. Yes, that is not something we can even call competition whatsoever. Even combined, Ford and GM in the US only sold about 17% of what Tesla did. Yes, the US EV market belongs to Tesla, and they are about to turn on the light in the factory that should scare the bejesus out of GM and Ford, knowing that Tesla's smaller factory with less advanced production technology in Shanghai almost sold 500,000 units in only its second year of operation. What do you think Tesla's much bigger factory in area, volume, floors and so on, the Giga Texas, will be able to do in its second year of operation? Yeah, Tesla will not lose its dominance in the US anytime soon. And even though Tesla lost market share in the US, it went from 80% to only 65%. It does not matter. Market share, as Gordon Johnson loved to talk about, means jack. Tesla still grew in the US, that is all that matters, and Tesla will grow even more this year with their new factory opening. But Tesla's market share will of course fall as more players come to market. That is just math. The more that has to share the market, the lower the market share everyone will get, especially for someone like Tesla that pretty much owned the whole market before. But looking at the global market, Tesla is by far the leader, and we still have to see how well Xpeng, NIO, BYD and so on will be received here in Europe and the US when they will be able to get some volume of BEVs to those markets. But the growth is what matters here. And that is what Mark Spiegel said Tesla wouldn't be able to do, grow with all of this competition. But even with all of this competition, Tesla grew 87% in 2021. And Gordon Johnson said that Tesla had peaked in Q4 of 2018 with the sale of just over 90,000 EVs. But boy, was he wrong, as Tesla has over tripled its sales in Q4 of 2021 compared to Q4 of 2018. Actually, Tesla sold more cars in Q4 2021 than the entire year of 2018. Talk about a growth story. Yes, competition came, and yes, there is a lot of competition here in Europe and in China, but Tesla is still one of the leaders in both markets, something Volkswagen can hardly say. Yes, they are the leader in Europe in 2021, but in China they were not even able to beat two of the new startup Xpeng and NIO, and no one of the legacy automakers had a single EV in the top 15 list in China in 2021. That was all Chinese car makers and Tesla with two models, the Model 3 and the Model Y, taking the number 3 and number 4 spot. So, Mark Spiegel, the vaporware Model Y did in its first year ever being produced and delivered in China become the third best-selling EV. And no one of the legacy automakers, many models you have praised as Tesla killer, didn't even make it to the top 15 list in China. So Tesla is leading on a global scale. They are growing faster than anyone else by volume. Yes, Mercedes grew 150% or something like that, but that does not matter when they only delivered 49,000. And Tesla is in the leaderboard. No matter if you look in the US, in Europe, in China, it does not matter. Tesla is at the top of the leaderboard, something no other car maker can brag about. Yes, BYD is big in China, but only in China. Yes, the Volkswagen brand is a leader in the EV in Europe, but only in Europe. Yes, Ford was number 2 in the US, but only in the US, and only because there is not really any competition in the US. They only sold about 27,000 EVs as a brand in US, and that was enough to make them the number 2. That would not even have made them a top 10 in Europe or China if they even were able to sell that many models in Europe and China, which they didn't. So no one in the top of every EV market on the planet but Tesla. Sorry, Mr. BS. And Tesla grew with more units than any other brand on the planet produced of EVs in total for the whole year. So let that sink in for a moment before you try to even comprehend that Tesla will have twice the amount of factories here in 2022 and try to understand how much that will make Tesla grow in 2022. Mark Spiegel, Gordon Johnson, Jim Chanos and so on, they couldn't have been more wrong about the competition. Tesla's so-called competition has only shown itself as a competition to each other. Tesla seems completely untouched by the competition and has just continued to grow, and even faster than ever before. Probably because people can now easily see that Tesla's EVs are just superior. That anyone still wants to hear what these clowns has to say about Tesla is just beyond me. They couldn't have been more wrong even if they tried. And 2022 will just put one fat line under Tesla's dominance and pace of growth. No one will be able to keep up with Tesla's production speed.
And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.